Hello, Aquarius. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Witch's Tarot by Ellen Dugan, illustrated by Mark Evans. At the bottom here is Ellen Dugan's name again and Mark Evans. There's also the website, llewellyn.com. Feel free to freeze frame and check that out if you want to, of course. Supportive Oracle Cards. Wisdom of the Hidden Realms Oracle Cards by Colette Baron Reed. Websites for Colette are, there's ColetteBaronReed.com, but there's a couple others there. Feel free to freeze frame and check out whatever you would like to check out, of course. Excuse me. What do we have for Aquarius? Let's get these cards out here first. Alright, so mystery can be fun. It depends on where you're standing. This seems very... I've already done a reading like this for you. There's a block. And I feel like whatever this block is, it feels kind of fragile. So, and I don't want to destroy it, basically. So, it's kind of like the block is there, and for what it is, I'm like, I guess it's just going to be there for right now. I wouldn't say you were accepting it. I just feel like you're working with it, sort of. It does seem fragile, though, whatever that means. So it's kind of like, I don't know, if I'm not careful and I say the wrong thing, but it's almost like, how do you explain this? It's like you could say, hey, how's the weather today? And somebody else will reword that as if you just said the worst insult about somebody else. It's kind of like that type of situation, kind of like, okay, people are trying to pretend like I'm this big monster that I'm not. So it's kind of like, that's why I got to be careful how I talk to people, who I talk to, when I talk to them. I'm not really sure if people are honestly doing that and they're mishearing things, or they're just being that one. People are trying to... Somebody is trying to hold things back. Because there's another block card here in the environment. The Hanged Man to me is another block card. But it's also, usually, it can't stay that way forever. There's an openness here. There's this open spot. And they're trying to protect it. They're trying to hide it. But I feel like you're kind of like, you probably figured it out already, that that's there. You're just waiting for the right time to do something about it. Again, it's a fragile situation. Kind of like, I'm going to wait till the right moment, because it's not about just utilizing that space. It's about getting the best I want out of it. Because you probably already know what you want to do with it. Do you already know what you want to do with it? Yeah. You're not really sure it's the best thing to do with it, but you know what you want to do with it. For whatever that means. Maybe that's not the best way to handle it, but you already know what you want to do. You know what you want to do. If you're going to do that or not is a whole other thing. I don't know where we're going with that. I get like you're trying to be... I don't know. You're entertaining some thoughts. Doesn't mean you're going to do certain things, but you already know what you want. You know what you want. Okay. Now, as this keeps moving forward, do things get out of your way? The Hungry Ghost is very interesting, especially when it comes across the Temperance and the Eight of Cups. I feel like whoever was blocking you just stops blocking you? The Hungry Ghost, is that for you or is that for them? I'm not even sure that's for you. I'm starting to think that's for them. Is that for them? Is that for whoever was blocking you? Two of Fire and the Temperance card again. They might get out of your way because now I feel like they've spent so much energy and time being in your way that it's just kind of like it's worn them out. It's kind of like, I don't know, they're just kind of like giving up in a sense. They're just, it's like a goalie that's just kind of like, I'm sick of being goalie, so they're just walking away. So then the goal is literally just open for whoever wants to kick a ball in there. Like if I'm thinking like it's football in Europe, I'm pretty sure. It's soccer here in America. You know, something like the goal is just left unguarded. It's like they're just kind of like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm just sick of playing this position. So they just literally just leave. They just walk away, which is just makes it really easy to score a goal. A lot easier than it would be if they were there. What else do I get from this? Are they like what is there's something else with them? Like, is there anything else you need to know? Anything else that Aquarius needs to know about this person walking away? Six of Pentacles and Judgment in your favor. Be careful. It's not about the person who walked away. It's about the other people watching. Because that could be a thing later. Because Judgment is in your favor when this happens. But be very, very hyper aware that there's a lot of eyes on you to figure out what you're going to do next. And people are trying to watch and see what you're made of. And people will be judging you based on the outcome. Which right now may seem like, well, it is what it is. But later on, these could be the same people who either block you from moving forward or don't let you know about opportunities. You don't even know something is going on. It's kind of like somebody leaves or moves and you have no idea that things happened. There's people watching. I feel like you know this better than anybody else. If you're not even aware that something is going on, there's nothing you can do about it. And if people stay far enough out of your reach, things can change, and then you find out after the fact, after the changes are completely done. So you're going to do what you feel is correct. I understand that, totally respect it. But I'm getting, the more gracious you are with this moment, the better it works for you later on. I'm not saying you want to be gracious. They're saying if you can be and you decide to be, that pays you back in huge dividends later. People are watching. People are like hyper focused on you. Because I feel like there's this attitude that people are like, some people have started this like narrative that you're this person just looking for your next moment to rip somebody apart. I don't think that's correct. I do feel like Aquarius can do that if warranted, and you decide that's like if somebody pushes the button and they have it coming, that's a whole other story. I know not every Aquarius does that, but it seems like Aquarius can do that if they want to. And maybe you have done that in the past, and maybe that person's trying to create this narrative like you just rip people apart just for the fun of it. I didn't, especially if this is a work situation, I don't think that's happening. But be aware, people are watching. People want to know the truth about you, and people keep watching. People keep watching. I don't mean to make you paranoid, but people are like constantly watching. It's more about when you're speaking, if there's some type of communication, like you're emailing people or you're talking to people are hyper-focused and watching. Constantly. And I feel like it's not like if you're walking to your car or if you're out in town doing this or doing that. I don't think people are like stalking you like that. I don't feel that energy. But for example, if this is a work situation, they hear your voice, they're like, oh, what's Aquarius saying? Who are they talking to? Are they being nice? Are they setting them up? What's going on? Hyper-focused on you. I don't think you need to be worried about it in the sense of like you don't have to pretend like you're somebody you're not, because Aquarians usually have kind of a fun personality, in my opinion. You say things a little off color when you want to for a little bit of fun. I don't feel like what you say is hurtful, but other people might take it that way. Yeah, whatever. It depends on, because you can be very colorful, very fun with your language, and sometimes it's all about the interpretation, But I feel like with this situation, specifically, if you handle that with a lot of grace and dignity, what somebody else would term dignity, which I know is subjective, that does really go well for you. I don't think you have to edit your everyday conversation. I think just this situation specifically, this shows what you're made of. And when you're graceful with this, if you decide to be, I do see like people are starting to believe that that's who you really are. and people are like happier with that. They're also, if you're more graceful with this situation, they see you as a person like when it's warranted, you can definitely stand your ground and you're very smart and you can handle things where necessary. They're looking for somebody that they can be confident that has the mental prowess to handle a hard situation, but the reserve to not be cruel when even though you could be. Somebody's looking. They're trying to find out if you fit somewhere. So especially if this is work, keep that in mind because this could affect a promotion or something like that going down the line, or it could affect who you end up working with down the line, something like that. For example, maybe there's a couple managers that are going to be reforming teams, and like you might end up on like a really difficult team if they think you're a harsh person, but somebody else who thinks you were really compassionate when necessary, you might end up on a very good team, something like that. Take it with a grain of salt, I know. All right. Is there anything else I need to say with that? I feel like this is just a heads up. You're going to do what you need to do. I feel like the whole purpose is just to put the information in front of you and you do with it what you see fit. Just as long as you know where this is going and how things are playing out later, as long as you're aware of it, I feel like it's going to go the way it's going to go, and that's how it is. They just want you to be informed. That's all. If this is hitting for you, that's the purpose. Anything else? All right, I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thank you again for watching, and have a great day.